Nice to see so many sloppy faces, probably from yesterday's party, right? I almost know what you feel. My oldest daughter also graduated yesterday from the kindergarten, so I also had a party with my mother-in-law. Okay, Mihkel, can you turn on the slideshow? Yeah. So, my name is Mait, Mait Peekma. We also have here Mihkel Rava. We both work for Clarified Security. So it's a small company. We only have around 25 employees. And all we do is security testing and related activities. My specialty is hardware devices and networks. So this means that whenever I arrive at the office on Monday morning, there is a new device or a gadget or a new toy on my table. And by Friday evening, I have to give a report what kind of security vulnerabilities I managed to find on that device. So for example, a new wireless keyboard. Some of our customers were willing to know whether, if they start using that specific model of wireless keyboard, whether it is possible for someone to capture the keystrokes from another room, for example. So that's what we do on a daily basis, or that's what I do on a daily basis. Security testing is pretty easy compared to another thing called red teaming. So you know already what is testing, right? Security testing is also a part of functional testing, similar to, or the opposite of reliability testing. So if you're testing for some softwares or systems reliability, you're usually testing whether the system does what it is supposed to do. Well, when security testing, you actually try to find what else you can do with the software or hardware. For example, if it's an internet bank, whether it's possible to not just see your own account balance, but for example, someone else's account balance. Now, red teaming is a different thing. Security testing, basically, you have a limited time, let's say 1 week, and you have to report as many security issues you found during that week. Red teaming is a different thing. This usually means that there is a customer who has invested a lot of money into their security, not just information security, but also in physical security. And now they want to know how easy it would be or how hard it would be for an attacker or intruder to access their premises and, for example, steal someone's laptop or install a virus on a file share, etc., etc. So mostly the customer gives us a list of possible targets, like file server, the secretary's laptop, etc., etc. And now the red teaming starts. So it usually starts with open source intelligence. You use Google, Bing, Yandex, maybe. You look as much as possible about that organization from the open source like internet, and then you try to infiltrate into the organization somehow. Usually it's easy. You just create some nice viruses or malware, send it over email, someone still clicks those exe files or opens those Excel files, and it's easy. Sometimes we need to physically engage to actually get into the customer's premises, take someone's laptop, open it somehow, and install the backdoor into that device. But why we are here? The idea is that over time we have seen that there are so many legacy physical security measures used not on our customers, but everywhere. So first, we'll give you an overview, the theory part about those measures and how to bypass those. And then after the speech, we have a setup of tables outside, and you can try out all the attacks that we show here outside later. So I recommend you to come outside and actually try them out. Then you'll actually understand that it's pretty easy to do those, to bypass those legacy physical security measures. So with red teaming, if you're lucky, you only have to find one bug. The bug that gives you access to the final target, and that's it. But as told, sometimes you're not lucky and you actually have to physically go to the location where the customer is and try to access. So I'm usually working at the office, nearby the coffee machine, in a relaxed environment. Mihkel is the red teamer. He actually has to go on site live undercover and do the same tests. So it's much more challenging and stressful, probably. Okay, what's the agenda for the day? First, we'll tell you about lockpicking. I guess many of you here are already seen videos in YouTube how to pick locks. Now the difference is that you can actually try them out unless you have already bought a lockpicking set for yourself. Secondly, we show you RFID cards. Most of the world is unsecure because they are not configured to be secure, mostly. So how to clone those door access card or RFID cards. Third thing is tamper-evident seals, how to open and how to reapply them. And finally, there is a cherry on a cake about printer steganography. So what is this printer steganography? Well, you see. So let's start with lock picking. The tumbler lock that you can see on the screen is around 4,000 years old. So it's pretty legacy. So around the time when pyramids were built. So here I have a training set. So a training lock, this is transparent. So you can actually see what's inside the lock. So it's pretty easy to actually train on that lock. And well, the challenge is to open it. Usually you have the key to open a lock. So what's the key? If you check the key, then the key has teeth. So the same teeth as in our mouth. But the teeth have different lengths. Now, the lock has pins. And in order to open the lock, each pin plus that pin's teeth on the key must be equal. So for example, in this example, on the right side, you see the table. The left one is the key teeth. So this means the length of the teeth on the key. On the right column, there is the pin height. So, and if you sum those numbers, two numbers, then it's always 9.9 millimeters. So if you manage to get the same sum, then the lock will open because the cylinder will turn. Now, so what we need in order to pick a lock? This is a pretty simple lock. It's a training lock. It has been heavily used. A lock that has been heavily used is much easier to open than a lock that's freshly taken out of the box. So first, you need a lock. Secondly, you need a tension wrench. So if you would have a key, then the key has those teeth that I told you, and it's possible to turn the key. But now we don't have the key. We need something that emulates the turning, or something that allows us to turn the cylinder inside the lock. Because if we would put in a wrong key, then there would be no room for the lock pick. So I take the tension wrench, I put it inside the lock, and I apply small pressure. Don't put too much pressure on the lock, because this is a training lock, it may break. In real life, well, you usually don't need too much force either. And now I just take the lock pick, or picker, and you see it already opened. So because this is a training lock and it's pretty easy, and of course I have trained a little. But I'm pretty sure 100% of you will be able to open the same lock later after like a few minutes of training. That's really pretty easy. Now, if you want to test out your office, whether you have also a simple lock to open, then the easiest way is to buy the same model and try it out first on your table. And once you have practiced enough, then you can actually go to the lock and try it. In real world, usually the locks are not that simple that they are just, let's say, located here, and then you can, in real life, sometimes you need to open the lock something, let's say, you have to do some gymnastics to open it. So let's try. Yeah, it's now open again. So that's the easiest lock, the tab lock. We also have another type of lock. This is, how it's called, let's say, the lock that goes inside the door. So this is slightly harder to open. So first try that one in the lab outside, and then take the second one. So the system is similar, but it's just slightly harder to open it. So this was about locks. Now, one more thing. If you're interested in lock picking, then don't go to an expensive e-shop and buy the most expensive toolkit. If you're a beginner, just start with a 25 euro set that has 2 locks, the lock picking tools, a tension wrench, etc., from Amazon or eBay. Just buy that one. Once you master that one, then go and buy the more expensive tools. And secondly, if you don't know how to pick a certain lock, look for lock picking lawyer. So he's a guy in US who basically knows how to pick any lock, and he makes videos, short, easy to follow videos how to do it. So let's continue. So to open a lock, you either need a lock picking set or a key. People are sometimes lazy. They don't want to use the key, put it in a lock, open it, etc. So therefore, this was invented. 1973 was the first working RFID card. So it's around 50 years, yeah? So it's an anniversary. So what is this RFID card? Most commonly, the RFID card is only used to read out a certain number on the card. So this is called UID or unique ID. Mostly it consists of 4 bytes, right? Yeah, 4 bytes. So this means roughly 4 billion something. Yeah, okay. Anyway, it would take you years if you would try out each number one by one. So it's not really brute forceable on a live system. But still, most systems in the world just use the UID that's on the card. So in some cases, it's even written on the card. So if I can make a photocopy, or let's say I just make a photo of your card, let's say this one here, then I would be able to clone the card because I already know the number, the 4-byte number. So how does that card work? So this is a card that we already opened in the office. You see there is an antenna and a small chip. There is no battery. So this means that the card reader has to power the device, the card, using the antenna, just like you wireless charge your mobile, for example. And then the small microchip wakes up and usually sends its unique ID to the reader, and then the reader verifies if that person or if that card is allowed to open the door. There are different technologies or different versions of those cards available. Most commonly, low frequency and high frequency cards are available. Some systems also use ultra high frequency and Bluetooth low energy. But here we will show you the low energy and low frequency and high frequency cards. I told you most world is insecure because they only check for the UID. It is possible in most of the systems. Okay, let's say it is possible for some of the systems to make the system secure by, for example, doing a challenge response authentication. So this means that the chip here has a private key that never leaves the card. The reader gives that chip some mathematical challenge to solve. The chip does it using the private key, and the card reader verifies if that chip had access to that specific private key, and then it's possible to open the door. But since it would take up to a few seconds to do it, mostly it's not used. And of course, it's also more expensive. There are also other types of like defenses available, for example, the encryption. So this means that the door cards and the controllers are both manufactured at the same location, and they share a symmetric key. But it's more technical, and it's rarely used. Now, do we have a video of that?
Maybe let's do a live demo.
Oh, okay, let's do a live demo. So let's say that I'm an employee of some random organization. Here's my employee card that also allows me to open doors on that organization. And I'm just casually walking here on the stage. So there is a hacker, Michael. Why he's a hacker? He has a laptop. So if you see someone with a laptop, then it means he's a hacker. Actually, a laptop bag, yeah. But that laptop bag is actually somewhat special. So let's pray for the demo gods that the demo works. So on the screen, you see the clone of the Android's phone display. So there's an Android phone. And now I'm just, let's say, walking here randomly. Did it work?
Yep.
OK.
And we can even try longer distance.
Yeah. So I'm just casually, let's say, standing here. It's my third time on Nordic testing days. So this time I'm just standing. Yeah. So it was around, how many? 40 centimeters? Let's try again. What was the distance? So the reader actually did not touch my card. So there was actually distance. Yeah. So that's it. Will you also open the laptop bag, or it's a trade secret? Or? OK, so of course, it's not a random laptop bag.
But basically, what it contains is just a small battery, not a little bit of electronics, and actually a garage door reader. So it's a bigger reader than on the usual doors.
So this allows us to read from the distance. Otherwise, I would really have to, let's say, that's the card. I have to let's read the card. So, well, it would work probably in the southern Europe, but not here in the northern part. So mostly, if you want to read cards and clone those cards, then, well, in the past, you required some special equipment, some tools for the low-frequency cards, some tools for the high-frequency cards, until a Kickstarter project started. Does anyone know what is this one? Yeah, Flipper Zero, great. So this actually is the thing that you should buy if you're interested in card cloning. It doesn't, it's not a solution for all the edge cases, but for a casual hacker, hacking just on Sundays, this is completely fine. So it's around 160 euros. OK, we also have a video that we made. So this was a controlled environment at our office, our own employees, but just to show how easy it is. Actually, you don't need this flipper. If you want to read NFC cards, so this means high frequency, most of high frequency cards, you can just use your Android phone. So you see, that's the door of our office. Now one of the employees. Yeah, it's half speed, so we can tell. So you see, put it on a pause for a second. Yeah, you see, she has the same door card somewhere, yeah, nearby the same place. OK, put it, continue. And then there is a hacker. It's a next level hacker because he doesn't have a laptop bag. Yeah. And that's it. He actually made a copy using the Android phone from that card. And now he can use you see, the boy casually. And that was it. Just to copy the UID of the card. And now you see the screenshot of the phone. Just a few clicks. And the phone will emulate the card. Or actually, currently, he will make a clone of the card on a physical, programmable door access card. And it's possible to enter. Now, think about the person who can access most rooms in your office. And not just during the working day, but also after working hours. Janitors, cleaning ladies, exactly. So nobody asks why that person is there after hours. So if you clone a card of a janitor or a cleaning lady, you mostly have access to, well, almost everywhere, right? So the equipment you need is a RFID reader. We have a few outside. The card. A card that is UID modifiable, so this means reprogrammable. Most of the cheap cards that you can buy from the internet, they are already been programmed, and it's like write once. You can only, they already came with a UID, and it's not possible to modify it. And an Android phone or a flipper. So, next thing, security seals. I'm pretty sure you recognize the middle picture, right? So it's a bottle of alcohol, has a sticker on it that shows that the taxes for that bottle of alcohol has been paid. So, and the other ones are security seals. So what are those security seals mostly used for? So for example, if you buy a new laptop, then the box of the laptop is sealed using some kind of a sticker. Let's say, for example, there's a sticker. That's not just put on the box, but it's put on two pieces of the box, so it's possible to see whether it has been opened or not. And now if you want to open the seal, then, or if in case you open the seal, yeah, I can't really, it actually breaks up. So, two tools you usually need. One is a thin plastic sheet. Can you just put the next slide as well? Yeah, you usually need a thin plastic sheet. In some cases, that's all you need, because with a little help of time and patience, it's possible to open it without breaking the seal, you see. And it's possible to reapply it later. Of course, the longer the seal has been on the surface, the harder it is to remove it. Because I just put it here, the glue hasn't yet reacted as much as it would be, for example, tomorrow. But it's possible. Now, if you don't have that much patience, then I'll just explain what it is before. Then there is a thing called IPA. So IPA is not Indian Pale Ale, the type of beer. It's isopropyl alcohol. This is usually used by the people who are soldiering, because this helps you to clean up the flux after soldiering. Or if you are wearing glasses, then this is a great tool to clean up the glasses, because it's not the usual alcohol, it vaporizes completely. So if you put it on a surface, after a few, let's say, 30 seconds, half a minute, it completely vaporizes and there are no traces of that substance. It is slightly acidose. The acidity is lower than lemon juice, so it's safe. Just if you are trying it out later in a lab, then don't put the finger with that substance on your eye, for example. So yeah, be careful. But otherwise, it's safe. Now, this is a security seal. Sometimes we see it in various offices. For example, the USB ports of computers have been blocked using the security seals, so nobody would be able to put in the nobody would be put in the USB stick with malware, for example. So I just put it here, for example, on that device. And if I would remove it just using my fingers, well, you see that the sticker actually broke. It had a serial number on it, so even if I buy the same sticker from a shop, the serial number will differ. And if I try to put it back here, well, it's clearly visible from a distance that it has been opened already. Now let's try it again, using the help of Michael. I just put, okay, first I need to find the, let's put it on a, yeah, on the actual ports here. So it's sealed. Yeah, if I try to open it, then it would change the, well, it will break. So put a lot of it. I
was trying to save company.
Yeah. And now it should open relatively easily soon, as soon as the isopropyl alcohol starts to work. And the good thing about this is that the glue is not going away, so it just disconnects from the surface, and you can reapply it later. Put some more here. Okay, I was not that patient, but basically it's possible to open it. So you can try it out in the lab. First, start with a cardboard, and if you already mastered the cardboard, then take the device and put another type of sticker on the device and try if you can manage to open it. And we have one more thing, just the cherry on a cake. Those who have color laser printers at the offices, just for you to make you aware, most, if not all, color laser printers, in addition to printing what you ask them for, they're actually printing some yellow dots on the paper, everywhere on the paper. Was there another? Yeah. So those dots are so tiny that you will not be able to see them using your naked eye, but with the help of ultraviolet lamp, it's possible to see, or using a microscope. And this allows you to draw the same pattern on a paper, for example, and then decode it. So this means that most, if not all, color laser printers, it is possible to tell the date, the time that paper was printed, and also the printer's serial number. It depends on the vendor. Some vendors use different, their own encoding methods, so it's not, that has not been, let's say, decoded or decoded yet. But for example, Xerox printers, it's possible to tell when a certain page was printed. So we have a microscope outside. If you have a printed sheet from a color laser printer, take it, check it under a microscope, and you see that the magical yellow dots appear. Yeah, that's the equipment. Basically, the microscope is not the one that you see in the movies. It's a cheap €100 microscope that you can buy from eBay or Amazon. And this is optional, actually. It sometimes a little helps, but not always. Yep, time for questions, I think. Or 40 pidi lõppema. Oh. Okay, so yeah, that's it. So, any questions or, yep, someone is there.
Hello, my name is Margarita. Thank you for the presentation. And I have a personal question. What system are you using at your home? I mean, what lockers?
I wouldn't recommend you one single system. The idea is that you use multiple systems. So if one has a security issue, then the other system will calculate it.
Do you have control? Do you see if someone trying to break the locker and another system will protect you, or just it takes more time for robbers?
Well, if you already have, let's say, a few security cameras at your home, maybe something else, then the robber will think that, okay, I will not go to that house, I'll just take the neighbor's house. So that's the
Thank you.
idea. Yeah. Harles, I see some hands. Okay.
Thank you. Amazing at first. What about these RFID noise generators? These cars that are supposed to generate noise to avoid this, you know what I mean? I have one.
Well, it's a game of cat and mouse. Of course, the card manufacturers know that cards are being cloned. They make their own solutions to make it harder to clone the cards, but then as well the black side or the black hats improve. Anything what's special about it?
Yes, so there are actually secure RFID cards and solutions, but usually what we see in Estonia at least, they are not in use because it's cheaper to buy just a cheaper solution and then you get insecure solutions.
Yeah, it depends on how much you want to put money into the card system, because maybe there's not that much valuables in your office. The card reader is maybe the most expensive thing at your office. So. Yeah.
Hello. Thanks for your lecture. I actually was interested how to be protected from this person with a computer who just passes by you and copies your card. What is your advice?
It's possible to use, we don't have a demo device here, but it's possible to put your card inside a specific bag or a container that doesn't allow radio frequencies or, let's say, the energy to reach the card. Just a random look at the eBay, there are some special wallets that have thick metal walls, or basically the easiest one is to take aluminum foil and put it around your wallet. That's it. Yeah. I didn't get the last part you said. Well, don't wear them like I do. It's actually, we don't wear them like this, but well, as told, many of the cards have the number printed on the card, so it means that if I'm even on the instance and make a photo of the card, I can read the card's number and create the card by myself. So keep your card hidden.
Okay. Thank you for the presentation. One question. How do you use dropping the pen drive in your attacks, for example, on the premise of the company you're testing?
Could you repeat?
There is a strategy that calls dropping the pen drive.
You mean USB?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we do that as well. So the question was about whether we put some malware on the USB small USB thumb drives and then just forget them somewhere. Yes, of course, that's everybody does in that industry. So yes, we do it.
Hey, my name is Andre. Maybe it's just me, but I didn't get the point of the last topic with the printer. Why would you need the serial number of the printer?
No, this was just, it wasn't a security measure, just if you have a laser printer at the office, which is a color laser printer, then be aware that if you print something out on that printer, then it's possible to tell when this page was printed and what was the serial number of the printer. So that's it. So there is no like, it wasn't really related to the previous three topics.
Thank you. So no questions at the moment, probably those guys hanging around here, so you can ask one by one those secret questions.
Yeah, you can try them out till the end of the coffee break. So there's now another speech coming in. During that time it's possible, but also during the coffee break. So until 4 o'clock we are there with all the equipment and you can try out how to do the same attacks.
Yes, no, actually, please raise hands who wants to participate at workshop next year regarding this topic. Lots of hands. The price is €1,000 per half a day, so registration will open soon. So as initially only Mait applied for this nice track, then I have only one bag. Actually, this is not an issue because my card definitely is copied already, and Mihkel, you can get additional chocolate behind this door.
Yeah, thank you. No, let me